Hello, time travelers, and welcome, new time travelers. As always, if you're new to this channel and enjoy learning different historical events from around the world, then don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Without further ado, let's get into it. Today we're going to start out in 1804 when Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of France in the presence of Pope Pius VII. Now, the Monroe Doctrine, which declared that the U.S. would not interfere in European affairs, but that its sphere of interest included the entire Western Hemisphere, was enacted by President James Monroe on this day in 1823. In 1859, abolitionist John Brown was hanged following a raid on Harper's Ferry, Virginia. In 1884, American Mongolist and monodramatist Ruth Draper was born in New York City. 1942 is when scientists led by Enrico Fermi concluded the world's first controlled self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction at the University of Chicago. Moving on to 1954, when the U.S. Senate voted to censor Senator Joseph R. McCarthy for his conduct in the investigation of communism in the United States. 2 years later, in 1956, Louis Andrew Pick, American Army officer and engineer, dies in Washington, D.C. at the age of 66. On this day in 1971, the United Arab Emirates was formed by the union of 6 small emirates on the Arabian Peninsula. A 7th emirate joined in February of 1972. 6 years later, in 1976, after a 3-week inquest, the chief magistrate of Pretoria, South Africa, declared that no one is to blame for the death of Stephen Biko, a black leader who died in police custody on September 12th after sustaining brain injuries. The U.S. State Department declared itself shocked by the ruling, stated, "It seems inconceivable on the basis of evidence presented in the inquiry could render a judgment that no one is responsible. Even if individual responsibility is not established, Mr. Biko's death clearly resulted from a system that permits gross mistreatment in violation of the most basic human rights." In 1981, American singer Britney Spears, who helped spark the teen pop phenomenon in the late 1990s and later endured intense public scrutiny for her personal life, was born. I didn't realize that she was 10 when I was born. Anyway, the following year, in 1982, William C. DeVries implanted the first permanent artificial heart in Barney Clark. The aluminum and plastic device was called the Jarvik 7. That makes me think of Iron Man. Way off topic. Anyway, again, the following year, in 1983, the groundbreaking music video for Michael Jackson's song Thriller aired on MTV. 7 years before the turn of the century, in 1993, Colombian criminal Pablo Escobar, who was head of the Medellin cartel, was arguably the world's most powerful drug trafficker in the 1980s and early 90s, was killed during a shootout with authorities. 1 year after the turn of the century, in 2001, following revelations of massive accounting fraud, Enron filed for bankruptcy protection. The energy trading company was once the 7th largest corporation in the United States. And our final event happened 10 years ago in 2014 when Canadian ice hockey player Jean Beliveau, considered one of the game's greatest centers, noted for his prolific scoring, died at the age of 83. And with that, we will return to 2024 and our current history. And as always, if you enjoy learning historical events from around the world, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. I'll see you in the next one.